Yeah, well, Philly is a very good place to get your chops. I mean, there's a lot of musicians, and there's a lot of cold weather in the wintertime. So it kind of puts you in your house, and it makes you want to practice and learn. And then the radio stations there. I can say that's how I really started. Is from Philadelphia radio, and there's a station called WDAS there. And I mean, from sun up to sundown, you're hearing good music. As a matter of fact, I can go to Philadelphia right now, and those DJs are still there. Mimi Brown, Dr. Perry Johnson, and they're still playing those songs, and it's amazing. There is just a rich culture. Billy Paul, we were talking earlier, as a kid, they would have these things called cabaret, show and dance, where a cabaret is you bring your own food and drink, and they would supply the tables and the supplies and everything, and then they would have entertainment. And this particular cabaret we played, it was we were kids, and it was our families there, so they was like, yeah, have the kids come on up and play. And we didn't know that Billy Paul was going to be there, that particular cabaret. So we would be rehearsing all these top 40 songs, and we would know a lot of the top 40 songs, and we happened to know Mrs. Jones, me and Mrs. Jones. So Billy came up, they introduced him, and he came up, and we were just like frozen as young kids. And we played the song. It went over well. We thought it went over well. We could probably sounded crappy because we were so young, but Billy was really kind. He was really nice to us, and I will never forget. He thanked us, and that was my first professional gig with Billy Paul singing me and Mrs. Jones. But Philly is it's a musical town, and especially it's a bass town because there's a lot of bass players, world-renowned bassists that come from Philadelphia. Number one, my biggest influence was Stanley Clarke. And then you got Alphonso Johnson, who's a jazz bassist who's played with Carlos Santana, and he's got Billy Cobham, a lot of jazz artists, but he's really known for playing for Santana. And then you got Gerald Veasley, you got Victor Bailey, who's played with Madonna. And then a lot of people don't know this, but Jaco Pastorius, world-renowned bassist. He lived in Norristown, right outside of Philly for quite some time. And so very, very, very bass heavy. I don't know, it may be in the water, but bass guitar and bass is just known. World-renowned players come from Philly. And then when you get to the R&B and your singers and your groups that are known as singing groups like Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes. And then you've got world famous songwriters. Not to go so fast, but Patti LaBelle's another singer from Philadelphia. Then you got Evelyn Champagne King. Who would have thought? From Philly. And then your songwriters and singers and songwriters are just, that Philadelphia sound. People hear I'm talking about the Philadelphia sound, which is Gamble and Huff. Tom Bell, McFadden and Whitehead. These guys have written hit songs for artists all over the world. And they kind of put Philly on the map as far as it being that Philly sound. And you got the South Soul Orchestra, which backs so many groups. They even wrote the theme song to Soul Train, MFSB. That's another group from Philly. So as you can see, there is just a wealth of music and culture from Philadelphia. And I'm proud to call it my hometown. There came a point where I was looking outside of Philly. A lot of times when you're in it, you don't realize it, and you're looking outside. You want to get out. You're like, I gotta get it. I gotta get to where it is. So that brought me to the point where it was okay. I want to go to California because there was a lot of rock happening there. There was a lot of soul and funk and a lot of record labels. Philly was not known for a lot of record labels, so I wanted to go to a place where there was. So it's kind of funny. I kind of packed up and went across country to California, and that's where I could say I really started my career. as a songwriter, as a bassist, and as a producer. That's where I really got my chops.